business in the pulpit. But I have this brother, and my brother and I, we've been having some challenges lately. You ever have any challenges in your family? Somebody say amen. And maybe the Lord has sent me through this challenge with my brother. Maybe I can share something with you and you can resolve your challenges by listening at my challenge. Now, first of all, I want to say that my brother is a very nice person. I love my brother and I care very deeply for him. But even family members can be a little difficult sometimes. Amen. They can send you, sometimes you get upset with them because they are family and you just don't expect certain things out of family. And this brother of mine, we have always gotten along very well. In fact, even when there have been other conflicts in the family, he and I usually side together and work out our differences and the challenges that we have. But this particular challenge has brought us to the edge of no repair. And I feel very bad about that. I wrestle with it because I don't like that type of relationship with my brother. But you know, family unity is one of the most important blessings that we have here on the earth. Amen? And if you have a good relationship with your family, you ought to just praise the Lord and thank God for that. That's one of the best blessings you can have. Families that work together and stick together, they can accomplish some great things. They can serve as anchors to help each other rise in life. We have families, I'd love to see them just hugging and kissing and talking to each other. We've seen that. And families should be that way. You should develop trust among your family. You should practice honesty and decency among each other. When we look through the Bible, we see that Jacob, no doubt, was sad about his son's treatment of his youngest son. He was sad because there was conflict among his children. Parents love to see the children getting together and doing things together. And David, boy, was that family corrupt, amen. Absalom and all those other children of his, they troubled his heart. And David was upset to see the great rival that was taking place among his children. But I want to say to you today, one of the things that Satan is very good at, and that is creating hostility in families. If he can create a hostility in family, then he can create a hostility in the church. He can create it in the community, in the world. But he'll start by practicing it among families. Sometimes there are certain hostilities that exist in the family that last a lifetime. Some family members die mad at each other. Amen. I've seen that happen. Cain and Abel, children of Adam and Eve, they were the first family. And that first family that lived here on the earth brought in the first murder to take place among people. One brother kills the other. And that relationship ended up in murder when God had given them the opportunity to exist together in love and as a family. I believe and I think that through prayer, eventually my brother and I, we will repair our differences. In fact, I'm going to do something that all of us should do. Whenever there's a problem, you should be the one that initiates the repair. You should be the one that reach out and see as a Christian and as a brother or a sister what you can do to fix it. And if you have a family issue, be the first one to start working on fixing it. Life is so short. We're only here for a few minutes. So learn how to fix issues. Learn how to compromise. with others. Learn how to sacrifice in order to fix situations. And learn how to pray to God and use what I call a Christian application to the situation. In other words, put God in it. Use God, amen, to fix your situation. You see, keeping on with my family business that I shouldn't be telling you all. The problem with my brother and I is this. My mother passed and she willed the house to me. And she did that because I am the oldest son. But she instructed me to make sure I am fair in the distribution of whatever take place with the house. Well, guess what? She gave birth to 6 children. That means that if I sell the house, and although 2 of them are gone, I'm going to divide the equity by 6 and even give the deceased money, give their money to their children. So that I would be what? Doing it right. But guess what? My brother, he wants the house by himself. Amen. Now this brother, he got about 3 or 4 other houses already. And he wants this one. You know, one of the problems in families is that we need to be content with what God has blessed us with, rather than trying to be stingy and greedy about everything else. Some of you create problems in your family because you are not content with what you have. Thank God for what you have. Amen. And learn to be a blessing rather than a curse. Well, of course, I'm not going to let him have it by himself. He'll have his share like everybody else will. Now, I said all that to bring us to our text. In our text, we have 2 twin brothers who have a problem with each other. Esau and Jacob. And when we come to the text, they are in the process of trying to fix what is wrong between them. And further reflection on the historical problem that exists here, we all know, those who are Bible readers, is that this problem was created by their mother and their father. Listen, it is a bad thing if you have children and you try to favor one over the other. You create hostility between the children as a result of your action. No, love them both the same. Treat them both the same. If you only got one piece of bread, divide it up, amen, among them. Do what is right. But these parents, Isaac and Rebekah, they had these twin boys, Esau and Jacob. Now, Esau was the oldest. He's the oldest child. And according to tradition, the birthright goes to the oldest child. However, Isaac, he favored his oldest child, Esau. But Mama, she favored the baby boy, Jacob. And she began to do a little trickery. And she was able to deceive her husband and have him to bless Jacob with the birthrights, and thinking that he was blessing Esau because he was blind and getting old. So she tricked him. And when it was found out, guess what? That which the parents had done created problems between the brothers. So the one that had received the blessing, he was afraid of his brother. So he had to get out of town under the dark of night. And he left town. He stayed gone for a long, long time. And that relationship, think of the years that you spent apart from family members because of problems. People that's in your family, you don't speak to them. You haven't called them over something that happened years ago. You don't even know what it was. All you know is you all don't speak anymore. And am I talking to anybody in there? You know what I'm talking about. Well, listen, these brothers, they were in that situation. They were in different places. They were not relating to each other because of this situation. They stayed apart from each other. And then one day, Jacob decided that he wanted to move back home. And he remembered that his brother was out getting. So what he did is that on his way back, he had some people that were with him. He sent some messengers ahead of him to tell his brother that he was coming back. And when the messengers returned back to Jacob, they say, well, your brother, we gave him your message, and he's on his way to meet you, and he have an army of 400 men. Jacob began to tremble and wonder what's going to happen. He became very afraid of what was going to take place. And so, in order to appease his brother, the Bible says that he began to send him all kind of gifts for him, to meet him while his brother was on the way. He began to send goats and rams and donkeys and cows and bulls and everything to appease him and send them in large numbers so that his brother's anger would not be so fierce when they come back together. Still upset over that incident that had taken place. Now, when we get to our text, this is what happened. In verse 8, Esau, who was coming to meet his brother, here's what he said. And what were all the flocks and herd I met when I was on the way? In other words, what was all that stuff that you were sending me? What was it all about? And then Jacob replied to him and says, they were gifts, my Lord, to ensure your friendship so that you won't get mad. He was thinking about that army he had with him. And then Esau said, my brother, I have enough. Esau answered, keep what you have for yourself. But Jacob insists, no, I have found favor with God and with you. Please accept this gift from me. And what a relief it is to see your friendly smile. I guess it was, wasn't it? It is like seeing the face of God. Please take this gift I have brought you, for God has been very gracious to me. I have more than enough. Now notice, these brothers are coming back together. And they were planning, Esau had received all these gifts, and those gifts were to be used to bring them back together. However, Esau and Jacob, they did something that I hope my brother and I can do to get back together. And you know what that is? And you too. I want you to look around at what you already have and let everybody know I have enough. Tell somebody I have enough. Amen. You don't have to give me anything. I have enough. Amen. And having enough was what they're going to use in order to bring this relationship back together. I don't know why my brother want to be so upset about this house. He have enough. How many of you got 4 houses already? He have enough. And guess what? I don't have 4, but I got enough. Amen. And I got enough not to allow any type of material thing to come in and break up a spiritual relationship that God has developed between me and him and my family. And all of you got to understand, don't allow any little material thing to break up your relationship with what you have from God, which is family love and a blessing to have somebody in your life. So just get on the phone. If you've been fighting over some stuff, tell them, keep it. I got enough. Amen. I have enough. But you see, it is a rare thing to meet people in life who can really say they have enough. It's rare. Amen. Because the great majority of people, I don't care how much they have, they're always craving, wanting something else, wanting more. But here are 2 people from different walks of life, and they are content with what they have. Both of them are wealthy men, but usually it's strange, but wealthy people are the ones who are always trying to get more. They're trying to make the government pay for a wall, amen, so that they can use their own builders and get more. I know that went over your head, but think about it when you get home. They're always doing something to increase their position, regardless of what it takes. They're never content with what they have. And brothers and sisters, unless you learn how to be content in life, you will never be truly happy in life. You will always have something driving at you, trying to force you to get something else, because you are not content. You see, to be content is a godly thing. It's something that God, like Paul says, I know how to abase and I know how to abound. And whatever situation I am in, therein I learn to be content. Contentment is something that you need, and you're going to need it in order to live a moral life of excellence. Be content. Now let's take a look at these two individuals and the fact that they both had enough. Now one of them is, by every measure, when you look at him, he represents an ungodly man. That's Esau, amen. And I want to tell you, sometimes ungodly people can receive blessings from the Lord, just like godly people can, amen. You know how I know? Because he blessed me, amen. As that song, I was on the other side of the blood at that time. And he blessed me. I'm on this side, amen. And he blessed me. Thank you for that beautiful. But unconverted men sometimes are content with what they have in life. And they're not going out of their way to be dissatisfied. But oftentimes that is the company where most of the dissatisfaction comes from, because they don't have something that they need in order to make them satisfied. Sometimes we are just like Esau, and we want contentment, but we want it in a different way. The unconverted. You know what unconverted people want? They always want power. They want energy. They want something that will cause them to be reckless and present their pleasures in different ways. But they have this spirit of greed, and they will go forward with activities of oppression in order to get what they want from others, to satisfy their lack of contentment. They don't have a good nature. They don't have a spirit that allows them to live and enjoy what they have. Because there is an evil side to us, and it leads us to get wealth only to boast about what we have. You know, and people are always boasting about what they have. Amen. Oh, and Esau said, I have enough. I don't know how he got it. Amen. Because there are different ways people get enough. Amen. Now, I don't know how he got it, but since his brother had been gone, he had managed to do very well. He even had an army of 400 men. So he was not craving. He was not wanting for anything. He had enough in life. But then there's something else. After Jacob listened to Esau, Jacob said this, and I love this. He said that I have more than enough. And that's what I don't want you to miss today. You see, it's one thing to have enough, but it's something else to have more than enough. You see, you can have a lot of material things, and that will be enough. But if you got God, thank you, amen, you got more than enough. You know why? Because you got happiness, you got joy, you got peace, you got love. A lot of rich people can have a lot of material things, but they don't have what we have. We got joy. We can shout and tell the Lord how blessed we are. Even when we don't have all the material things, they can see us blessed and praising the Lord, because we have more than enough. Anybody got more than enough this morning? Have God blessed you this morning? Are you happy this morning? Oh, come on, are you happy this morning? If you're happy, then you ought to just praise Him, amen. And let Him know that you have more son over there. And God put people in your life, and you are so happy that they are there, that you will give up all the material things that you have in order to have them. And then you got more than enough. Amen. You got anybody in your life that's more valuable, amen, than things? You know what is more than enough? Oh, you have more than enough. How many of you have Jesus? Amen. Oh, praise God. Amen. I see my brother pointing to his daughter back there. If you got Jesus in your life, and then you got more than enough. You know what you got? You got joy in your life. You got resurrection power in your life. You got the ability to get through stuff that's going to come your way in your life if you got Jesus, and that's more than enough. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. I know that one day, listen, one day you're going to need Jesus. Amen. One day all of this material stuff, you're going to have to give it up anyway. But don't give up Jesus. You're going to need Jesus in your life. Thank you, Jesus. Praise his holy name. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Praise his holy name. Listen, when he said, I got more than enough, you know why he said that? Because when you read the Bible, Jacob, the Bible says, there is a covenant relationship, thank you, Jesus, that takes place with a certain family who's going to be a special family on the earth. So in the 12th chapter of Genesis, God makes a covenant relationship with Abraham. And he tells Abraham, you're going to be blessed, and nations coming out of you are going to be blessed. Now hear this well. He said, you're going to be blessed, and then nations are going to come out of you, and they're going to be blessed. Now listen, God made that covenant relationship to only 3 people in the Bible. Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, who we're talking right now. So when Jacob said that I have more than enough, he had not only what he had right then, but he had the blessing that God was going to give him in the future. And you got to thank God for what he's going to do for you in the future. Don't worry about what you got right now. God is working on your future. You're going to be blessed in the future. Praise God. And you not to understand, when you have favor with God, oh, praise God, you got more than enough. God is working out something right now in your life that you think is a problem because you are a child of God. Tell somebody it's going to be all right. I got favor with God. And because I got favor with God, I got enough. I got enough. I might be broke right now, but money is on the way. I got enough. Thank you, Jesus. I can claim what is coming to me because I'm in the blessing family. God said you're going to be blessed. Amen. You know that? Do you really believe that? Amen. And you don't have to worry about anything because he says now, you're going to be a blessed nation. Now listen, when Abraham was born, he had 2 children, Ishmael and Isaac. And he had a promise from God that he was going to be a blessed nation. So Isaac, he only had 2 kids, Esau and Jacob. And Jacob went away, he had 12 sons. And when I look out through the Bible, I see that right now, that nation of Israel is a blessing in the world. It's going to be a blessing in the world, and it came from Jacob. So Jacob said that I have more than enough. I can't see these 12 children that are coming, but they're on their way. Amen. They're on their way. And here's what's going to be the greatest blessing, is that out of those 12 children, one of them is going to have the name Judah. And Judah is going to have a child, and he's going to have a child, and then that's going to lead to David. And then David is going to have some children, and those children are going to lead to Solomon and Nathan. And they're going to have a child, and it's going to be Mary. And Mary is going to have a child. And that's going to be the blessing for the whole world. Everybody is being blessed. Thank you, Jesus. see down the line about what is going to come your way. So you need to say, even when you're broke, I got enough. Amen. I got enough. Amen. And let people know that you got more than enough because you have Jesus in your life. Do not be afraid to stand up before the whole world and let them know that you got Jesus. Anybody got Jesus this morning? Oh, praise God. If you got Jesus, then whatever you came in here was upsetting you today, you got enough to get over it. Amen. You got enough to get through it. Amen. Don't worry about all this political stuff. Don't bring this into the church. Come in shouting. Amen. Come in praising God. Let him know that you are his child and that you have enough. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Praise your holy name. I'm so happy today. You know, yesterday I had an invitation to speak on African history, and I spoke, and it was all of that. But you know, sometimes, right in the midst of every celebration, you got to see Jesus. You got to see Jesus. You got to stop everything else and start telling people about the Lord. And I want to stop a lot of stuff right now and just talk to you about how good God is. Have God ever been good to you? Have God ever really blessed you? Have God ever stopped by your life and did something special for you in your life? And then you need to start telling people about God. I don't care what they call when they talk about. You need to tell your testimony about how good God has been to you. Praise his holy name. Amen. Because once we start testifying about God and start telling people about God, and then we make this a better world. Just by testifying, just by talking about him. Amen. When these two boys came together, guess what? God had already fixed it before they got together. Because they came together, you know what they did? Esau, who he thought was going to attack him, he ran up and grabbed him and kissed him. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Sometimes you got to get past some stuff and start reflecting Jesus in your relationship in your life. Don't take it to the grave. Whatever it is, don't take it to the grave. Amen. I'm going to go back there and tell that brother of mine, listen, young boy, amen. You sit down and we're going to talk about this. Now, what's your problem? Why you think you better than everybody else and you need to have everything and not give anybody else? You weren't raised like that. Amen. Sometimes you just got to lay it down. Am I right about it? You got to get rid of it. Amen. You got to initiate it. Amen. And you know what he said to me? Well, I'm the one that's been working on the house and I put this in and all that. I'm going to say, just tell me how much it is and I'm going to write him a check. Amen. I'm going to make a sacrifice because we need to do some things to fix some situations that go on in our families and in our lives. Amen. Let's fix it. Tell somebody, I'm going to fix it. Amen. I'm going to fix it. And then you are reflecting God in your life. And you know what is going to happen when I do that? Mama's going to look down and start applauding. Amen. Do things that make mama happy. Do things that make heaven shout when you take actions on earth that are good. Amen. Tell somebody, I'm going to be good. Amen. I'm going to be good. I'm going to be the fixer in the situation. Do you know that God loves you? And that you are instruments in his hand, and he's using you right now. Some of you might not be understanding what I'm saying, but when you go back and you start thinking about that problem that you got going on in your life, this message is going to come back to your mind. And you're going to realize that God is using you to fix some stuff that's going wrong right here in your life, in your family right now. Amen. You know, we're celebrating Black history and all of that. How are we going to bring it? How are you going to be so proud with Black history you can't even fix something going on in your family? Amen. Start at home. Amen. Start at home. Esau, they got together and they began to talk, and the Bible says when they was hugging and kissing, guess what they did? They started crying. Amen. And you know why they were crying? It's because they had spent so much wasted time hard with the wrong thing in their hearts. And they should have fixed that long ago. So I'm saying right now to you, in our church, in your home, in your personal life, don't walk around with a lot of stuff in your heart that you need to get rid of right now. Thank you, Jesus. Thank you, Jesus. Amen. Thank you, Jesus. I'm going to, this year I'm going to get rid of a lot of stuff. Amen. I'm getting rid of, I got nothing problem with my heart anyway. I don't see anything else going on in there. Amen. Here's what I want you to understand, is that you need to make sure, even here in this church right now, there are some stuff that need to be fixed between some people. Boy, I wish I had a praying crowd. Amen. Now when I said that somebody came to your mind, guess what? The person that came to your mind is the one that God wants you to go and start working on fixing it. Are you listening to me? Because it's impossible to have a whole body of people and everybody think that they're going to make everybody happy all the time. It's not going to happen. No. You're going to step on somebody's toe. Amen. Somebody's going to rub you the wrong way. Somebody's going to say something to you. It's going to get under your skin. Amen. But here's what you need to do, is make up your mind that you have enough Jesus in your life to be brave enough to step out and grab that person, hug that person, kiss that person, and let them know that, we got to get rid of that old stuff. And we just got to worship God and praise His holy name. Are you listening to me? So I pray today that whatever is going on, that you make sure that you're going to be the one that initiates the fix-it problem. Amen? Praise His holy name. Pray. Will you do that? Will you do that? Amen. If you do that, and then God is going to bless you far above what you will be able to receive. Amen. When I leave here, I'm going to go home, and I'm not going to text. I'm going to get on the phone. Amen. Because we need to understand something. Life is short. Life is short. Life is so short. I have seen so many people leave this church and go home. And we didn't even know it. They were in Sunday that Sunday, and the next one they were gone. So there's not going to, don't look back and say, I wish I had done this. Am I right about it? I'm talking to you this morning because something is going on. And at our last meeting, it was such a wonderful meeting. You know what we stressed? Unity. That's going to be our theme in our church, is unity. We're going to get together. We're going to get it together. We're going to be our brother's keeper. We're going to unite and make things right in 2019. Amen? That's the theme that's going to be floating around here from now on. We're going to get together and do some great things and accomplish some good things for the Lord. So we want to come together in unity and do what the Lord will have us to do. Amen? And sometimes God just wants you to hear this type of message. And all God people said amen. Amen. Praise God. Please stand.